if we get lost or you have any more questions, we can just give you the video. All right. So, yeah, you're going to have each week, you're going to have two camps, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And you're most likely, hopefully, going to get placed at, I shouldn't say most likely, sometimes you'll get placed at different schools, sometimes you'll get placed in the same school for the morning and afternoon, which is really nice if you're at the same school because then you don't have to move any of your stuff and you can just hang out there, have 30 minutes or however long it is in between each class, and just kind of eat your lunch, hang out. But otherwise, yeah, you're going to have two classes per day. And in each one, there's going to be a break for the kids, which you'll take them out either outside on the playground, or there are very few schools, but they won't want you to go on the playground and you can just hang out in your classroom, and you'll have snack break and you'll have kind of their recess break. And with that as well, getting to know your school as well, where you're going to, is super, super helpful to know like what should you be doing. So always arrive on your first day 30 to 20 minutes early just to the school, just so you can get your bearings, talk to the faculty there, because they're going to be your first line of defense. If you have any troubleshooting, let's say you're not being able to connect to Wi-Fi, or one of your programs doesn't run on their Wi-Fi, they're kind of they're going to be able to help you a lot faster than I can because I'm not going to be able to be at every school. So it'll take me a bit. But if you have any questions, you can always email me. It's much faster if you ask the faculty there. So making sure you know them and are super friendly to them is like super, super important. And one more big thing I want to cover is making sure that you, on the first day, show control over your students. I mean, don't be like, you know, the biggest hardball there is, but be, friendly to them, but also be like have rules set in place. A lot of them know the 1, 2, 3 eyes on me. They've been kind of pre-programmed, if you will, from hearing that in their past years of class and stuff like that. So 1, 2, 3 eyes on me, make sure that they all know that, and you can use that to your advantage since a lot of them already know that. And just make sure that they understand that these schools that we're in, we're still in school. It's not like we are in a summer camp, but we're also need to respect our space, and they need to have an understanding of that. So, Meekin, did I do a
Yeah,
good job
yeah.
here? I went kind of
So
fast, but
yeah, we did move a little bit fast. The week is once again 4 days, Monday through Thursday. You'll have two camps, AM and PM. The good thing about the job is that you have a lot of freedom of how you conduct your classes and how you do things in your class, as long as you're getting through the material and have all your materials and are prepared for the classes. You don't want to show up to these schools with few laptops short or not knowing what you're teaching or anything that would be considered just underprepared for it. Not that it takes an overly great amount of preparation or anything like that. Um, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through some of the files that um, will be shared to you. Okay, can you see my screen?
yeah, I can see.
Okay, perfect. So this folder will be shared, or this Google Drive will be shared with you. It may be called Teachers, it may be called something else, but essentially it'll have all the trainings for all the camps, whether you teach them or not, just so that all instructors have them. And you can go through them and see how other camps how other camps flow if you ever have trouble like breaking down like what needs to be completed by day one, day two, day three, day four, and like how to wrap things up. And everything is in here. But basically, we're going to go through for all teachers first because this is just something that all of our instructors need to have and read through. Not the IT messages for camps. This is just if they block the websites or anything like that. Quick guide to teaching young students. The students in your classes will be age ranging from 8 to 12. This is students are going to be super excited. They're going to have a lot of energy. It's going to be your job to more or less maintain that energy at a classroom level, but still promote, the excitement and like them having fun with the stuff that you're teaching them. Because what Michael said about just making sure that you let your class know that you're the teacher is super, super important. You do not want to be walked over the entire week by your students. But if you are um, too lenient, or you let them do too much and you let them talk over you, you let them blurt answers out, not raise questions, or not ask to go to the bathroom. If you let too much slide, your class will be a little bit more difficult to manage, as opposed to if you demonstrate to your classroom, one, that you are the teacher of the classroom and that they must listen to you when you're teaching. They must be not talking, or if they respond to one of your questions, or conversing in dialogue, that it's at a classroom level. No one's yelling, no one's doing anything that they're not supposed to be doing. Um, one thing is, yeah, we have a lot of students that, or we have a lot of instructors that come in with various levels of experience, either teaching or being around students in this age, or talking in front of a larger group. But it's important that, one, you're confident, you know your material, you're going to get through it, you articulate your voice well to the classroom. But it's nothing really to be super scared about, or it's not meant to be stressful or anything like that. The class usually just teaches itself. All the material you will have, all the trainings, they're in presentation form, so that if you really like freeze up and aren't really sure what to say, you can throw that on the screen, and you can the tutorial or the guide will walk them through what the day should even entail and what they should get through throughout that day. And so another important thing is that you want to make sure that your students view you as a knowledgeable instructor, right? You don't want to give too many I don't know answers, or you don't want your students asking you a question and they leave the interaction kind of vague and thinking, oh, that didn't really get me anywhere. Even if you don't know the answer to one of their questions, problem solve it. Get on your phone, look it up. You have a teacher's laptop, you look it up on your teacher's laptop. And it's inevitable that you're not gonna know an answer to a question. These students are, again, age 8 to 12. They'll come up with crazy questions, random questions. You will be shocked at the questions they ask you. Most of the time, you'll be able to answer it just fine. It's a lot of just troubleshooting for them, and just like so they get hiccups on their progress just by really small things that you could probably problem solve fast. But every once in a while, they'll ask you something um, out of the blue, and it's your job to more or less let them leave that interaction getting some progress towards their answer, or their answer in general. Um, again, preparation is I think the number one thing. Just make sure that like for example, on your first day of the camp on the Monday, you want to get there with at least 20 minutes prior to camp starting, just so you, one, know the school layout, know where the bathrooms are, know where your classroom is. You can set up before, you need some time to set your class up. You don't want to pull up there at the same time as your students. That's gonna make your job a lot more stressful, and you're gonna have to rush through a lot of things. And it's generally not a good look to come at the same time as your students. You want to be there just a little bit earlier. Not saying that you have to come in like an hour before or anything like that, but just enough time. Once you get through your first week, you'll kind of have a general understanding of how long it takes you to do things. So if it takes you 10, 15 minutes to do something, like introduce yourself, or clean up, or whatever, you'll know that for your upcoming weeks, and you'll be able to plan. And so it's usually not a super difficult thing to prepare for. You want to make sure all your laptops are charged, or you have enough mouses, you have enough chargers, everything like that. Students, usually all your students will be pretty well behaved. The behavioral issues are not super common, but if they are, it's either one, fixable by you, where if they're just talking over you in the back of the class, you say, hey, we gotta listen, like you gotta be stern with it. You gotta be nice to them, but you gotta be stern with it. Like they can't be talking in the back of the class when you're trying to teach material, because then it makes the progress of the entire class slower, and it's just frustrating for you, and it's harder to talk over more people. But if it's something a little bit more serious, if they're really not wanting to do what you're telling them to do, if they're giving you a harder time, then anything that's a small issue, then the schools will have coordinators, program coordinators there to problem solve all your issues. If your student has a bloody nose, if they for behavioral issues, whatever it may be, there will be coordinators at the school to help you out with all that stuff. And if stuff really gets out of hand, then you can give Michael a call and he'll be there helping you with that stuff. But once again, behavioral issues, they're generally just not a thing because most students are just well behaved. Technical problems, again, kind of the same hierarchy where if it's a small issue, you're down a mouse, you can go to the coordinator and ask them for a mouse because they have I don't know, it's a school, they'll have an extra mouse for you. But if it's something like on our end where the laptops are either not working or something is happening that you cannot problem solve, then you can just reach out to Michael and he'll help you from there. But yeah, once again, it's super important to be nice to the people at the coordinators and the assistants at the schools because they're not hired through us. They're hired they're the school staff and they're there either volunteering or they're there just to help you get your camp running smoothly. Some tips with just interacting with students from previous teachers, just building rapport. Once again, I want you should know their names, they should know your name, they shouldn't you can have them call you whatever, you can have them call you Jackson by your first name, you can call them Mr. J, whatever you're comfortable with and whatever's easiest for your students. Just roll with that. And you want to make sure again they come to you with questions and thinking in their head, okay, he can help me answer this question. He can help me problem solve this and get past this hump, right? You don't want to give too many I don't know answers. You want to make sure that you're helping the individual students with what they need. Active listening, this is important. Active listening on their end and your end, but mostly on their end. When you're going through materials, you need them to get this information and learn it so that they can create their project using this information, and that you're not going to be scrambling around your classroom helping 15 students with something that it's one, super easy, and two, you went over in front of the classroom. You want to make sure they are listening to you. Participation, you want to encourage participation, collaboration. It should be a fun atmosphere. I'm not saying your students should sit there in silence and not say anything for the whole time, but just when you're talking, when you're explaining things and when you're going through instructions, they should be listening. Other than that, during work time, during whatever, the students should be collaborating, talking with each other, having a good time. And then we have just a teaching guide on teaching STEM classes, like demonstrating. You want to make sure when you're teaching something, you're demonstrating how you're doing it, so that they're seeing and hearing you, not just hearing you or not just seeing you. You want to be vocal, you want to be articulate, and you want to walk them through what you're teaching step by step. You can kind of walk through this or read through this on your own time. It's just some basic stuff. And then there's a tic-tac-toe laptop info. This is a laptop 5683 for all laptops. It'll be in your drive whenever you need it, but it's a pretty easy. You'll have it memorized after your first day, because the students will be asking you what the laptop code is over and over again because they're students. I want to emphasize that this is an organic setting. Not everything will go super according to plan all the time, 24/7. It's just your job to be able to be quick on your feet and problem solve your students' issues. And usually it's very, very easy and simple to do. But other than that, what you want to remind me what camp you're teaching?
Yeah, it's the Minecraft modders and Roblox game development.
Oh, okay, sweet. Okay, so we'll go through Roblox game development first. This is one of the most interesting and like probably one of the harder camps to teach. But that being said, this shouldn't scare you or anything like that. But it just involves a lot of like attention on your end to make sure that you're teaching it correctly and that they're getting this information correctly, and kind of there's a lot of details to it. Like I said, it's an organic environment. But we'll go through it. So tips, just be familiar with Roblox Studio, with the interface, so you're not opening up the software for the first time in your classroom and you're kind of new to it. It's pretty easy, but you want to know some of the basic features at least before you start teaching it. So students come in with various levels of experience, whether it's Roblox or Roblox Studio. A lot of your students will come into the class thinking, oh, we're just going to play Roblox the whole time. But in reality, Roblox is one app, and then Roblox Studio is a separate app. Roblox Studio is it's to create the games, and it's just a platform. It's like a sandbox platform to create whatever, all the different kinds of games. And so, although we're not going to say, okay, no Roblox at all or no fun or at all or anything, the students should be able to know that when it's work time or when you have to go through some of the intricate details, they have to listen. But before that, in the previous in the past successful classes, we've always had like 10 minutes of them playing on Roblox to get a general like just a gauge for themselves to see what kind of game they want to make, right? You can introduce on your first day, you start with, okay, we're going to have 10 minutes on Roblox. You guys are going to think of what kind of game you want to create or what kind of games you're interested in playing, because we're going to be working on stuff like this, right? So but only like 10 minutes, and then after that we get into Roblox Studio, and then we can start going through some of the materials. If they ask for, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so in Roblox Studio, how advanced does this course get? Because I know they use Luau for scripting. Are we gonna get really into doing scripting, or is it gonna be pretty basic?
It's gonna be, there's some scripting, but it's pretty basic. It's in what I mean by basic is like you'll have this is all the scripting there is.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say when I played with it, the farthest I got with scripting was making things kill the player.
Okay, yeah. So this stuff is yeah, this is like an interactive lava block. So you'll have a block of lava that if you touch, you will die. But you know, this is as far as it gets. I guess it gets a little bit more in terms of this. Like this is a disappearing platform. And once again, there's videos on this. Like you can play this. This is one, you should watch it through and see how it's created. And it's only 3 minutes. It's not meant to be extremely difficult, but you want to make sure that you know it well enough and have like maybe created 4 or 5 lava blocks to just know the simple errors that you will run into and the simple errors that will be a roadblock to your students. Those simple errors for you might be bigger roadblocks for them. You want to be able to troubleshoot them easier. So again, this whole video is 3 minutes long, but it's pretty self-explanatory. It's me doing this. I was recording this. So going through all the features. But yeah, I guess this is the lava block, and then this one is 2 minutes, but I'm just going through it. Like I said, if you don't know how to teach, you can throw this on there and you can play it in 0.25 speed or something like that and have the students go through it. But essentially it is just a disappearing platform block that goes on and off for like 3 seconds or something like that, and we code it, right? So the coding process, the important part about this camp is that it's hard to teach students that age this kind of like while loop or whatever, if they're not interested in it. You want to make sure you explain to them, okay, we're going to be making a cool like disappearing platform, like it's going to be interactive, like you're going to create it, it's going to be super fun, like, right? You want them super engaged into what we're doing, because having them type all of this out, and once again, this is a very like detail oriented camp, right? Like you must know that like the case sensitive capitalization matters, the parentheses matter, equals matter, dot can collide, has to be, the C's have to be capitalized. All these small things your students will run into repeatedly. So you want to make sure you're articulate the first time, and you tell them, guys, you need to go letter by letter. You need to go, you explain what they do. You don't need to really get into like what local or global means or anything like that. That's a little bit far-fetched of what we're even trying to do. But you generally can explain what your code does in chunks and then just have them copy it down, right? Like, for example, creating this function for appear and disappear. They don't really need to understand how functions work in object-oriented programming or anything like that. They need to understand, okay, we're going to write 3 lines of code, and it's going to make the thing disappear. And then we're going to write another 3 lines of code. It's going to make it reappear. And then we're going to write another block of code that just puts all those together, and that it becomes, appear, disappear, appear, disappear. And so that's the general knowledge that they should be leaving with this project. And also they'll have, they would have created this after going through it. So you can download the file for them. They can take it home and show that they created this or they coded this. Meanwhile, it's preferred that you teach them and walk them through and you be vocal. But a big part of these paperless like presentations, you just throw it up on a smart screen, and you can have them copy it letter for letter down, right? If they're somehow not listening to you or something like that. Yeah, like this is just like a little preface. This is today's objective is learning like Roblox Studio. But I kind of jumped into 3 and 4 there, sorry, but those are the hardest 2 you're gonna have to do. We start off really easy. I got into the scripting just because I wanted to answer your question. So I apologize for
no, it's all good.
maybe scaring you right away, but that's literally the hardest. Sometimes you don't even get to day 4, but we start off with introductions to the UI, just what Roblox Studio is. They're going to be in it, and there's a ton of buttons, and they're not going to really know what any of them do. Literally, they're not going to know where file is, right? So you want to get them a little bit accustomed to that, and then we're going to start creating an obby. Are you familiar with this term?
Yeah, that was the other day when I was looking through Roblox Studio. That was the thing I made.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so it's just an obstacle course or whatever the students call it, obby. So it's just an obby day. We're gonna have them make their own obby. There is a template on Roblox Studio, and this is the template. It starts off like this, and then you just go through some of the features that add stuff, like here, adding a sphere, adding a rectangle, manipulating the size of it, manipulating some of the appearance factors of it, like making it a graphite ball or lava ball or whatever. It shows how to import different things, like here's a zombie, right? You want to put a zombie on one of your blocks and make it a little bit harder. They're gonna have a blast with this, and this requires you like maybe 30 minutes and 45 minutes of instruction time, and the rest of the time for your day is them working on it, because you get them engaged, you get them having fun, and then they're going to be spilling with ideas on what they want to put in their obbies, how they want to do it. Some of them, and here you can put here, oh yeah, I was going to say background. You can do different backgrounds. They're going to have a blast just exploring all the features, creating it and customizing it how they want to. And it's a great first introductory kind of day where you're not going through anything super intricate. There's a search bar that says, cloudy background or zombie figure or anything. The students will start coming up with ideas on their own, but essentially the first day you want to get through creating everyone's obby. This will be the first project that you can download and put onto their flash drive at the end of the week. This will just be one of the 4. The second day is going to be a capture the flag terrain editor. Once again, this is a template. This is a capture the flag template. It comes like this. And so you don't have to worry about building any of this. It comes like this, but it's a capture the flag game. Again, super interesting to them. You want to kind of hype it up to them and be like, you guys can create any kind of like custom map to play capture the flag. And most of your students, if they have any kind of Roblox experience, they would have already played somebody else's capture the flag that's made on Roblox or whatnot. So they're going to be already excited. You go through a little bit of instruction, like literally this is 2 minutes, and you're going to teach it for 30-45 minutes, just going step by step. I might be going a little bit too fast here just because it's more meant for you rather than students, and I'm rushing through all kind of like the stuff. But again, the game is playable within the UI too. So as they play, they can troubleshoot as they play. They put in like a monster that's too difficult to play the game with. Okay, you press stop, you remove the monster, you put it something else. Cars, terrain editor, like you can make hills. I go through all the like different things that make divots and hills and whatnot, and you can import separate things. You respawn like at these camps, and even like you can get into your car. Look, we're just playing the game, right? And so this is a super basic. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing here, but again, this is super basic. I don't know how to say it. The camp teaches itself, right? You introduce this to them, you teach the features, you teach what you can import, you teach what you can do with it, and then you let them have a work day. You let them build this the entire day. It should be a pretty smooth day for you in terms of these first 2 days. Where you start putting in a little bit more work is probably day 3 and day 4, where you're probably repeating yourself a lot. You're saying, okay, guys, if you put one set of quotations, you have to finish it off with another one. These will be just like simple fixes that your students may necessarily not like know or be familiar with programming concepts or be that detail oriented. It's just your job that everyone ends up with the correct code and that they can run a lava block on their thing. So there's going to be a lot of times where just when you're just looking through code trying to see where the misspelled word is, or like where the capitalization is a little bit off. But after problem solving 1 or 2 students, the rest of the students they all become the same. And then, yeah, we already went through day 4, so it's just a little bit longer of a code, but essentially we're creating just another world where we create a project, or your student creates a project according to these instructions. And it's relatively straightforward. Do you have any questions on the material, or like what you should be teaching, or like how you should be teaching, or any questions really?
Besides the scripting part, I don't think I have any other questions besides, does this class come with a lot of difficulty or does it get easier as it goes? Because this one intimidated me a bit, admittedly.
This class is it's not terribly difficult. I want to preface that. It's one of the more difficult ones just because we offer some camps that are like making YouTube videos, which require you to press record and then press stop and then just put an intro and an outro. That compared to this is a lot easier, right? But this is not overly difficult. It gets easier after your first week. It definitely gets easier. You're able to, you can start, and when you have this on your Google Drive, you can download it and make a copy of it and like blur all of this out or close it and then go line by line. You can have them write this down and then write this down and then write this down, and you can just walk them through it. But it doesn't really, it shouldn't be overly difficult because the students will just, if anything, they just copy letter for letter. You know what I mean? And the concepts, again, like I said, you don't need to go through anything like why there's a period here, like what does this method of this what have to do with like what they're trying to understand, or why we have empty parentheses here, or what's a function, or why are we putting n so many times. You don't really necessarily need to go into the super details. You show them the transparency, we're going to put it to 1, and so it's going to make it disappear, and if we put 0, it's going to make it appear. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make 1 for it to disappear, 1 for it to appear, and we're going to put it together, and here's how the code works. But in terms of difficulty, it's not difficult. The interactive block, like I said.
So is the camp just a week long then?
Monday through Thursday.
And then you just teach another class the next week?
If you
Or
that depends on your schedule. So if it's the same camp, then you're teaching the same camp. So you just go through it, and it obviously becomes easier at week after week because you just know it better and better. But it's Monday through Thursday. AM camps and PM camps are different. If you have a different camp, you can look it up on here. Usually they have it. I'll show you another example for just because I don't want to scare you off, but let me show you, for example, Minecraft YouTube. Minecraft YouTube is where we use OBS to record the screen and record their like faces, so that we're gonna do like a walkthrough or a tutorial, and the students are gonna create 2 videos by the end of the week, just going through stuff that they would do on Minecraft. For example, you literally have them record their laptop screen and then do a how-to tutorial, or like how to make a house in Minecraft, and the student just like kind of makes their own video, and then this is something that you download and put on their USB drive. Another camp, for example, Minecraft Minecraft. Let's see, Minecraft, Pokemon. Let's do this one. This is one of the easier ones. This is this Scratch. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Scratch, but it's pretty similar. But in comparison, I would say this is easier than the Roblox Studio code. I guess that's subjective, but I think in a general sense it is, right? Because it's Scratch. But you throw this up on the board, you explain to them what this does, what this does, what this number does, what this drop down does, what these options do, and you have them essentially just copy it down. You'll have all of these slides available to you. You'll have everything for the Roblox camp. The Roblox camp, it doesn't even have anything besides this because this is all that's required. Usually, like I said, they may not get to day 4's project. Usually if this takes a day and a half or 2 days, that's fine. You have them work through it and they still leave the camp with 1, 2, 3 projects. You want to make sure students leave the camp with some feasible project that they could show and say, this is what I learned. And you want them to leave with some actual knowledge, understanding something new and being like, okay, I learned something from that camp at least. But in terms
So the
of,
content is only a week long.
yeah.
Okay, I thought these were like 2 weeks worth of, because my schedule, I'm staying at the same school for 2 weeks, but
Right.
after a week, it's a new class.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, your camps rotate every week.
Yeah.
So if you have Roblox Studio 1 week after another, you're just gonna restart the camp on Monday with a whole different class.
And your AM and PM classes are different as well. Completely different set of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, completely different classes. You're the longest and the most amount of group. It's your AM Monday through Thursday, and then your PM Monday through Thursday, and those are different classes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it. That's the curriculum for this. Like I said, you'll get this whole file. You can go through them if you would like. Probably don't need to. There's Minecraft modding camp or which one is it? This one where I would say maybe this one is a little bit harder or not really harder. When I say harder, I just mean like getting your students to understand the syntax of it, right? You don't want all of your students being stuck on your first project just because they don't know that they don't have 3 closing brackets instead of, or they don't have enough closing brackets or some small errors like that. It's just troubleshooting. It just requires more effort on your end. That's what I mean by hard, not like overly difficult, like conceptual ideas or anything like that. But yeah, this is a Minecraft modding day where again there's videos here that you can throw up on there. They create an obby in Minecraft too. You can play with Essential and other friends. But yeah, pretty generally straightforward stuff. Do you have any questions at all?
Would you say the first day is probably the hardest?
I would say your first. Well, when your first week, you'll probably not be alone. You'll have another teacher with you. And in general, like once you get through your first week in terms of knowing how you introduce yourself, how you get through material, yeah, I guess the first Monday ever will be the hardest, quote unquote, but it's not extremely difficult. But every week after that, you'll know how things go really. Down to the detail, and you'll be super prepared. It won't take that much out of you. You probably won't need to like prepare practicing your introduction at all after the first time you've ever done it. I don't think. Maybe any input on that, Michael?
I would say the first week, can be, I think it's more stressful than anything. It's not necessarily like super difficult because if you go through your folders, check out what you have to do and you're prepared, it's like, okay, I know what to do. But also I think it's more stressful than anything, just because you're like it's your fresh start and all that. But right after, like even during the PM camps, like it feels a lot lighter because you already went through it. And it's like just that first introduction, just getting past that is gonna be like your biggest like obstacle, I feel like. But once you get past that, you're gonna feel like a lot better. Things are gonna go smoother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say your first week teaching these camps, that will be the most amount of stress you get, and it's still not a lot of stress.
Yeah.
You'll have another teacher there with you going through this stuff. If you have larger classes, you will have an assistant throughout the summer. Like if you have a class with 25 students, or I don't know what is the cutoff, Michael? Like 20
I think
students?
it's 20-ish.
20 students. If you have more than 20 and up or something like that, you'll have another teacher with you there. No one's gonna like throw you into the deep end with like 40 students by yourself or anything like that. Um, but yeah, after your first week, none of the stuff will come as a shock to you. You want to make sure when you get there on your first week that okay, you like calm yourself down a little bit. It could be a little bit nervous. You want to make sure that you're vocal and you speak up and you introduce yourself properly and you kind of explain to the students like how the camp is going to go. Again, it's very important that you establish that you dictate how this camp runs and not the other way around, not so that you're not really like sitting there without being able to get through material. But usually it's very, very smooth. Kids are well behaved. The content flows on its own. Other than that,
I would definitely say like your first day you're gonna be like, okay, when should I start the class? You know what I mean? Like how should I go about this? But like take a deep breath, you know what I mean? Be like, okay, this is what I have for expectations. Definitely go through the rules first. Like that can be your first talking to them point, is like set your expectations for having them under control, the 1, 2, 3 eyes on me thing, and then kind of just be like, okay, let's dish out some laptops now. You know what I mean? Start getting the ball rolling while you're kind of like pacing it in your head, trying to like see what steps I need to go through. But it gets 100% easier even during the PM camps. But the next week is just a breeze compared to like just like starting out.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I have in order to go through the camps. Like I said, if you end up having another camp or needing to teach another camp or help out with another camp, like be the assistant for a different camp on a day that you know
Mhm.
you're not scheduled or something like that, um, then you can look at this and you can be prepared. This should have everything you could possibly need. It's probably overkill. There's probably more of the stuff than you need, but you'll get a really good gauge of how you run a classroom after your first week.
Yeah, I thought I was very nervous that the curriculum would have to be a lot more intense, but this definitely took some weight off my back on that part.
It's good. Okay. Yeah, Michael, do you want to wrap up and
Yeah. If you did you get the email with all these folders yet?
I have not.
Okay. I talked to Andres. He said he would send this out by like Monday night at the latest. So let me know by maybe tomorrow afternoon if you didn't get these folders yet. And I can get these folders out to you. But otherwise, yeah, just you'll do completely fine. We kind of went over it a little bit, but it's like we're it sounds more stressful than it is. You know what I mean?
yes, we just have to tell you this stuff so that you
Yeah,
have the information.
yeah,
But week after week, it not
mhm,
only gets easier, but um, these um, these students don't come into these camps as a first timer. Usually, they know the process even better than you because they
yeah,
go to different camps. This is not the only camp they've attended. Usually, they go to another robotics camp or a STEM camp or whatnot.
mhm,
So they know the drill. It's they come in the morning. It's 3 hours, right? So from 9 to 10 is like an hour where you can introduce yourself, get the software working, like you pass out laptops and everything. Then you go on your little recess break in the second hour from 10 to 11, and then 11 to 12. It's another just chunk of time for students to work, and then you wrap up. So that's the 3 hours. You fill it with material. Then you have your hour break. Then from 1 to 2, again, same thing, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. You should look at your 3 hour time blocks like that. Every hour, you should have one objective to do, like either your introduction and your starting, your middle one where you're working through, finding a good stopping point, going outside, coming back, and then get to working again. And then your last hour, more or less just work time, and then just clean up, be ready to be done by noon, so you can be on your hour break. But other than that,
Yeah.
it's super straightforward. Like it's actually not a difficult job at all. It should be
That's
pretty,
good, that's good.
especially during the work times. But you'll have like a big chunk of time where all students are head down working on their projects, and you're just gonna be chilling there, just waiting for them to have a question. There'll be times where you go an hour and a half and no one has a question. They're all just diligently working on their projects. Like you'll have an hour and a half to just kind of, like be in a classroom ready to troubleshoot, but more or less kind of just chill with them and on your teacher's laptop and anything like that. But yeah, super straightforward. If you have any other questions, you reach out to Michael or Andres, and they'll probably well, they not probably, they will, I mean, address it, right? They'll help you
Yep.
fix it. Other than that, that's all I got for you. Thank you for taking the time to do this training. Hopefully you got something off of it, out of it. You'll have this at your own disposal whenever you need it. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for showing me this stuff. Definitely took some made me a lot more relaxed about what's gonna happen this summer.
Good. Yeah, don't be stressed. I would not be stressed. I would not be too stressed about it. Like I said, as long as you prepare well, and not even prepare well, it doesn't take super long to prepare. Just, make sure you have the adequate material to be in the classroom and teach it, and you should be all good. But yeah, definitely, I'm glad to hear that you thought this was helpful. But yeah, for time's sake, I think that's all we got. Thank you so much for coming and training, and
Yep.
have a great rest of your day.
You
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
Thank you.